Shoot ko ha.
Nalalaglag mo, no?
Dude, that's...
Ikaw ba ay nalulungkot at walang makausap? Are you feeling lonely while working from home? Here's how to deal with work from home loneliness. When it comes to working from home or working remote, one of the biggest struggles is actually loneliness. Even among people who live with family or roommates, loneliness is actually a very common issue. And ano nga ba magagawa natin when you feel lonely and yung workplace natin is actually our own apartment or our own home? Let's figure it out together. In this video, we're gonna look at what loneliness means, what science actually says about it, and what we can do to overcome it. And habang wala naman talagang one-size-fits-all solution, I hope these 7 tips will help you feel less alone and isolated. And we're actually doing that right now. I love to be comic in my videos, but loneliness is really a real thing, and it's a big issue that's affecting online workers, remote workers, and freelancers like you and me right now. Hi guys, Shodan here, and I am the Pinoy Video Marketer. This channel is about online freelancing, working from home, and video marketing. If you haven't subscribed already, then ano pang hinihintay mo? Anyway, sa COVID, di ba ang dami-daming pasaway? You would think na people would social distance with all that's happening, all of the dead people rising, di ba? And hindi pala dead people rising, but all of the number of deaths na are going up again with the surge. Pero this is really because we are social animals and we cannot really blame people when they want to socialize. And when you work from home, you're already deprived of that kind of social banter, yung chance encounter with what happens when you're working in an office or when you're actually working in a group, diba? And lalo pa, when you're working from home dito sa pandemic, sa COVID-19, meron tayong added burden of not being able to socialize in the same way that we would under normal circumstances, diba?
Ito? Gawahimik kasi.
Alam mo na to.
Hawak mo. Okay. Okay.
Nagaya mo siya na ano niya.
Kita niya?
Party.
Okay.
Sideline.
Mawawala to ha? Wala.
Kabado. Masyado ka.
Shoot ko ha? Pakihihipan sir. Magic!
Nalalaglag mo, no?
Dude, that's...
David Blaine na po siya.
Ay, hindi naman naman.
Mind blown ah.
What? It's over! It's over.
So before, I used to actually go out at least once a week or maybe even twice a week and meet up with friends na fellow freelancers, and we would have beers and we would go swimming and we would have parties and samgyeopsal. We would all do that, and we could even go to coffee shops. We could actually do co-working and madaming things that you can actually do even if you work from home or you work remotely that you can do to get that stress off your chest. That is what we used to do pre-COVID. Yun nga, yung workplace natin actually right now feels like more of a prison than it is an office. Loneliness is common even for people who live with family or roommates. I actually found out that 20% of us are actually lonely. But first, what is loneliness? Ito yung definition ni Merriam-Webster. Sabi ni Merriam,
kung walang kayang sagot sa exam, ilagay na lang ninyo magmahal. Dahil kailanman hindi mali ang magmahal.
Being without company or sad from being alone. One can actually be surrounded by people and feel sad just as easily as one can be alone and feel content. So, kumbaga yung mga single dyan na kahit wala silang mga special someone, they're actually happy and content with their life. Hindi sila malungkot, right? So this is the big distinction here. Anyway, loneliness is essentially sadness caused by a lack of closeness. A lack of closeness na hindi talaga siya physical. So this is why you could be in a big group but feel alone. You should actually feel close to the person. Not just feel physically close, but mutually, like you have a feeling na close kayo. Now, how does being lonely at work affect us? It affects job performance, and the lonelier we are at work, the lower our job performance, the lower our business performance. Two reasons why. Lonely people or lonely remote workers are actually less approachable and less committed to their clients. And it's actually bad for our health. And loneliness showed up as one of the top 3 struggles for remote workers. So, what can we do to feel connected again? Thankfully, maraming ways. The first one is actually to lay off or minimize our exposure to social media. The more we use social media, the more lonely we will probably be. For example, kapag you don't see a lot of the news feed of people who are pretending to have the best lives that they have. And hindi nila kasalanan yan. Kasi of course, if you're only seeing the highlight reel of people on the news feed, of course, you're going to feel really bad because mafe-feel mo na nala-left out ka. Tricky kasi yung social media. It tends to have this illusion of closeness without the reality of it. Number 2, join a virtual co-working space. So, itong virtual co-working session is something like a Zoom meeting or any kind of online conference app that you can use. And you go on that meeting, you have a short chat at the start of the meeting, and then get to work walang pansinan. Number 3, find your community online. Sometimes we feel lonely because we don't feel like we belong to a group that shares our values or interests. Thankfully, in this day and age, meron tayong mga online communities for nearly every interest. For me, like online freelancing, video editing, video marketing, everything is there. So some places where you can begin your search. Here's some of my favorites. So number 1 is meetup.com. So ito yung mga merong in-person event and online event. I used to actually go to the mixers dun sa in-person events and just have fun. And dun sa isang group, I actually learned Japanese through this meetup.com where people just attend a meeting dun sa isang cafe, and we introduce ourselves to each other, and then we make friends through that. So meetup.com, you can find your interest there. It's based on that. Free din siya, and some of them are actually paid for some business groups, but that's one lead that you have. Number 2 is actually counterintuitive, but instead of social media always taking advantage of you because of the dopamine, like the dragons that you experience, just search for keywords like working from home or remote work or online freelancers. And here are my top recommendations. You can go to the Freelance Movement Workshop, the Online Filipino Freelancers, and Flip, or Freelancers in the Philippines group. And these are all actually owned and managed and administered by people I know in real life and are actually my good friends. And I'll actually be discussing these groups in better detail in future videos. Number 4, recognize that technology cannot completely replace in-person interaction. So kahit sobrang astig ng technology, guys, it's, ang daming nagagawa niya because of the pandemic. We actually are surviving and we are coping. It cannot fully serve as a replacement for actual in-person exchanges. Number 5 is get outside or take a walk outside and just have try to see if you can still get those endorphins going. Do some exercises. I actually go around biking sometimes and do it in the morning na konti pa tao. Number 6, nourish personal relationships. Look at your family members. Try to develop a closer relationship with them, like yung wife mo, yung husband mo. Instead of feeling isolated because you're working and with the stresses that we have as online freelancers or remote workers, we have this parang struggle na kinikim-kim lang natin yung mga problems na yan, when in fact they are actually there, and you could actually reach out to them. Even if there are some situations that might be hard to do, just try to start fostering the relationships in your personal life with your significant other, your roommate, your parents and friends, and get them to know how you feel, like show them your world. Number 7, it actually segues into number 7, is you practice vulnerability. But it's so easy, but the antidote to loneliness is closeness. But here's the rub. People cannot get close to you if you have your defenses up. The important thing to note here is that not everyone deserves your vulnerability. Only those that have earned your trust. Kumbaga, ganito. You have to share so that people will know that you're open to them. You want to feel like you're close with someone, you actually have to let your defenses or your guard down para ma-feel nila na you're being human and you're not just there just acting or just trying to be feeling close. Okay, so here are some action steps to practice vulnerability. Be honest about how you feel. Like, just be honest. Like, yung thing kasi about loneliness is that we're too often ashamed to admit na we feel lonely. Like, rather than creating closeness with others, our silence closes us off from them. So we pretend to be, if somebody asks you how you're feeling, just be honest about it. Eto, medyo malungkot kasi I'm working from home and I'm alone and wala rin ako masyadong makausap about the struggles of my own working from home career, ganon. Let them know. Let them feel na they're not alone din. Kasi more often than not, if you have a friend who also works from home, parehas pa rin yung nafe-feel niya. It will let them know that you actually need extra support and you have to ask for what you need. I have this feeling then because I had experienced it before. It can be scary to ask for what you need because your request may be rejected. Pero more often than not, the only way someone can know how to help you is for you to reach out. And I actually have a group. Marami kaming nag-work together to stave off that loneliness. We actually go on what we call accountability calls. And I'll tell you guys more about that in a future video. So another thing I just remembered is you want to model the behavior you see from others, like yung mga mentors mo or yung mga nakikita mo na, or people who are being successful at relationships and also staving off loneliness. Kasi when you're lonely, it can be easy to withdraw from society and stop checking in with friends. Kaso nga lang, this has a compounding effect because people will assume that you're doing fine and we're gonna give you space. So instead, you can do things like this. Do things that you wish others would do for you. So send your friend a funny gif, invite them to a hangout, or give them a call. Surprise mo lang sila, like just say hi. Like, ito ginagawa ko during my free time. I just randomly dun sa Facebook. Although, syempre, it's not the best use of Facebook, but you can do it if you schedule it properly. Just say hi to them randomly. What I say is like this: hey bro, or hey sis, I saw that you're online. Kita ko dito sa Facebook chat roll na online ka. Just wanted to say hi and ask you how you're doing today. Yun lang. You'll be surprised na yung effort na yon sobrang appreciated pala siya. And ito, like, messages like this, and ma-reciprocate siya, and then you actually get to nurture and develop your relationship with either a colleague or kahit friend mo siya from high school, matagal na kayo hindi nag-uusap. Just that saying hi, it really works. So there is hope pala for those of us who are lonely while working from home. And if you're feeling lonely while you're working, there's nothing wrong with you. In fact, it's not a reflection of your value as a person or as a remote worker. Isolation talaga is just one of the pitfalls of working from home that we have to overcome kasi maraming advantages, diba? Like, we get to be with our families, we get to be here, wala nang traffic, no need to travel, no need to actually go through a lot of stress just to start working, and we get to be home and shut down after work. Hindi lang pala enough, guys. To summarize, it's not enough just to surround yourself with people, but we need to cultivate closeness by joining groups with like-minded people and then distancing ourselves from technology and social media. Hirap na na. And allowing ourselves to be vulnerable to those we trust. So I'd like to leave you with this challenge. If you are experiencing work from home loneliness, tell someone, or even here, like dito sa chat, dito sa baba ng comments, just tell us or tell me, then let's try to cheer each other up, right? If you work from home, kumbaga may friend ka na na-feel siya ng medyo lonely siya, PM mo lang din siya or PM somebody, okay? Chances are you will find that hindi ka pala alone in feeling lonely. Ako din, I feel lonely, pero meron akong naisip ngayon lang. So let's cheer somebody up, like dito sa ano natin, sa comments natin sa baba. I'd love for you, kasi ako corny ako na tao, I'd love for you to leave your best and corniest joke dito sa comments. Like, yung tipong something na pagka kinento mo sa mga party, like, talagang siya yung pambato mo na joke na pagka sinabi mo siya, palaging benta. I-ano mo dito sa comments, and I'd love to get that, and then gagamitin ko na rin siya para sa mga pang cheer up ko sa mga tao. And also, I encourage you, everyone, to compile the jokes here and gagamitin natin sa pag-reach out sa mga friends natin who might be feeling lonely, or pwede natin gamitin if we are feeling lonely. Pampasaya lang, okay? Also, lastly, I have a fun quiz for you to determine if magsusurvive ka ba with a work from home lifestyle. Alright, so that's it. Share this video. I would really love if you can share it with somebody who will benefit from this, and a person then who needs cheering up. I hope na I made this video fun enough for you, and I'll see you in the next video.